Growing up in Nogales, the border fence was a constant fixture of your skyline. Your mother managed a tamale cart while your father drove delivery trucks, crossing the border twice weekly. From him, you quietly learned the art of the crossing, the names of the agents, the rhythm of the checkpoints, and the vital importance of a calm, professional demeanor. By 20, you were working for a freight company, mastering the tedious world of shipping manifests and customs declarations. It was modest work, but you became an expert at ensuring the paperwork always matched the cargo. Inevitably, opportunity arrived through a family connection. A businessman named Ochoa offered you a role in import-export logistics, focusing on heavy equipment. The work was demanding and paid in cash, offering 5 times your current salary. Though you took a day to respond to maintain your poise, the decision was immediate. You weren't just looking for a career, you were looking for a way forward. The first weeks are exactly as promised. Processing legitimate shipments of auto parts and agricultural gear, you reconcile invoices and schedule trucks, maintaining a veneer of boring professional normalcy. However, by the 3rd week, a pattern emerges. Every 5th shipment is slightly heavier, perhaps 50 kilos, than the manifest suggests. The seals are perfect, but the suspension sits a fraction lower. Drawing on your father's lessons, you read the truck's weight like a clock. You remain silent, processing the paperwork without a word. Ochoa notices your discretion. This silent compliance serves as your second interview. Soon, he takes you to a different, secluded warehouse. Here, under fluorescent lights, you see the truth. Methamphetamine is expertly hidden within the hollow frames of tractor attachments, sealed with factory-spec paint to mask the welds. The logistics are real. The cargo is transformed. The operation mirrors a high-end assembly line. There is no chaos. Instead, technicians in gloves use calipers to ensure precision. When Ochoa asks for questions, you ask the only one that matters. How do we avoid the dogs? He smiles at your use of "we" before explaining the multi-layered defense. The product is triple vacuum sealed, neutralized with solvents, and hidden within equipment frames. An industrial petroleum coating mimics the scent of machine grease, masking it from canines and appearing as solid metal on X-rays. With 6 years of clean paperwork, the shipments are virtually invisible to customs. Your role evolves into route management. You aren't a smuggler, you are a logistics architect. You study the border like a pilot studies airspace, memorizing shift changes, traffic patterns, and the temperament of specific agents. You learn that Tuesday and Thursday mornings are optimal, as heavy commercial volume and weary morning crews create the perfect window for speed. You implement a rigorous rotation between Nogales, Lukeville, and San Luis. By utilizing 3 distinct ports and 3 pristine sets of documentation, you ensure no single crossing is ever flagged. The paperwork isn't just a formality, it's your strongest armor. Once the product reaches U.S. soil, the logistics transition to a sophisticated network of suburban stash houses in Phoenix, Tucson, and Las Vegas. These residences appear entirely ordinary, yet they contain hidden compartments for weighing and repackaging. You manage this from a distance, coordinating through encrypted, rotating communication. Your vocabulary centers on 2 critical status updates: clean or short. In your 4th month, you encounter your first shortage, a 50-kilo delivery arriving 3 kilos light in Phoenix. Both the driver and the house manager claim innocence, leaving you to resolve the discrepancy. Following the route data, you identify an unauthorized 22-minute stop in Casa Grande. After reviewing retrieved security footage, you observe the driver accessing the cargo alone. You meticulously document the timestamps and visual evidence of the breach. Presenting these findings to Ochoa isn't about personal grievance. It's about maintaining the absolute integrity of the system you've built. Following the driver's disappearance, you immediately tighten the protocol. Every driver now carries a GPS-enabled device that pings every 60 seconds. Any unauthorized stop exceeding 8 minutes triggers an automatic alert. To ensure absolute reliability, you build redundancy into every layer of the operation. Triple-sourced precursors, backup routes for every crossing, and a rotating roster of 14 isolated drivers. Communication is protected by 4 layers of encryption, function, and a 48-hour dead man's switch that wipes all data if a specific code isn't entered. While the cargo is different, the work is identical to your freight company training, inventory management, route optimization, and loss prevention. Your success earns you $10,000 a month, allowing you to move into a private home and provide your parents with better equipment and financial support. In Nogales, such sudden prosperity is accepted without question. Ochoa eventually introduces you to a high-level American wholesaler who discusses 200-kilo monthly distributions with the clinical detachment of a grocery executive. He demands fixed schedules, tracking updates, and a dedicated point of contact. Essentially, he is building a subscription model for the product, and you have been appointed his account manager. When you shake his hand, his palm is dry, a sign of pure professional calculation. The surge in volume introduces a new set of logistical complexities, more drivers, more routes, and more potential points of failure. To manage this, you assemble a specialized team, prioritizing intellect over muscle. You hire Carla, a former taxi dispatcher, to manage the GPS tracking and driver rotations. Beto, a brilliant engineering dropout, to maintain the encrypted communication systems, and Don Fausto, a retired customs broker who ensures every document is legally flawless. Your unit carries notebooks instead of weapons, making you the most discreet yet profitable cell in the organization. After 18 months, your corridor achieves a 98.5% delivery rate, moving 200 kilos monthly, without a single law enforcement seizure. Ochoa reports a 40% increase in total distribution since your arrival, speaking with the pride of a CEO reviewing a quarterly earnings report. To your own quiet dismay, you realize you share that pride. This professional satisfaction is shattered by a news report from Cedar Falls, a small tertiary market in Arizona. A 15-year-old girl has died from an overdose in her home. While the cause was fentanyl, which is not part of your inventory, the methamphetamine it was laced with is undeniably yours. The Phoenix distributor responsible for Cedar Falls receives exclusively from your corridor, and the batch numbers in the report align perfectly with a shipment you logged 6 weeks ago. The abstract numbers on your spreadsheet have suddenly gained a devastating human face. The trail of consequences is a mathematical certainty. You trace the path backward with the clinical detachment of a quality control inspector, the warehouse, the driver, the specific route, the falsified paperwork, and the optimized schedule. At the end of that trail sits a 15-year-old girl in Cedar Falls, her life extinguished by a supply chain you perfected. You can map the distance from her final moments to your desk with terrifying precision. When the weight of that realization hits, you do what every professional in this industry does. You lean on the internal script of logistics. You tell yourself you are not the manufacturer, nor the street-level dealer. You don't force the product into anyone's hands. In your mind, you are simply moving boxes from point A to point B. You look at it at night, then immediately check the green GPS pings of Tuesday's shipment. The pressure begins to mount when the DEA starts circling the perimeter. They don't find you immediately, but the burn is felt in the network. Stash houses in Phoenix are raided. Local distributors disappear into the legal system. When a driver misses his 48-hour check-in, your dead man's switch activates, wiping months of encrypted evidence in 9 seconds. And the addresses you spent months securing are being compromised one by one. Ochoa, the man who brought you into this world with white tablecloths and polite promises, moves the operation to Tucson. You rebuild the entire infrastructure in a fortnight. New houses, new routes, new faces. When Zamora calls a meeting and demands the entire network be put on paper, the drivers, the stash houses, the protocols, you know the insurance policy of your mind is being cashed in. The moment that knowledge leaves your head and hits a document, you become a liability. You promise a summary, then go home to a quiet kitchen to weigh your options. You dial a number you've kept for 8 months, given to you by a man who claimed to be a federal agent at a gas station. You speak for 40 minutes, dismantling 2 years of architectural brilliance in a single conversation. 41 arrests, $22 million seized, and the total dismantling of the infrastructure you built. Zamora is taken at lunch, while Carla and Beto are intercepted at home. Only Don Fausto, the veteran broker, vanishes, having engineered his own exit long ago, relocated to a quiet Colorado town, calls on Sundays to discuss her tamale cart. You listen in silence. At night, however, you still fill notebooks with maps. You realize the cartel's true engine isn't violence, the spreadsheets, and the man who makes the paperwork match. And that's where the story ends. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support means a lot. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.